Hello there, Chris here. Apologies for the bad sound quality. I'm currently sitting in a Asda car park because that is how I spend my Tuesday evenings. So you will have probably seen that Nintendo released this image of the new Mario movie, which they're now officially calling the Super Mario Brothers movie by the sounds of it. Apparently on Thursday they're going to show the trailer, finally kind of revealing it for the first time. Now, I've been studying this with all the intensity you would expect from a massive nerd, and I've come up with a couple of interesting theories, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of give my prediction as to what the film's actually going to be about, so that on Thursday when it turns out it's completely different, everyone can say, idiot, even though it was just a bit of fun. I should stress that, like most people, I have absolutely no idea what any of the film is about, so this is purely guesswork, and not me relying on sources to leak stuff or anything like that. That's not what this is. This is just a bit of fun, me trying to guess. Now, you can tell from the way the kind of this art is laid out, Mario's kind of stand look up. You see this kind of layout a lot in movie and posters and like game covers and stuff, but usually when you see the character from behind, like kind of looking up at a world, it's usually because that's where the adventure is ahead of them, and more often than not it's an adventure that they're not familiar with. Now, obviously you would assume Mario knows the Mushroom Kingdom inside out, but my guess, and this is all it is that because the film is called the Super Mario Brothers movie, I think this is a retelling of the original Mario origin story. I think this is like what they did with the Sonic movie. I think they're retconning Mario, and they're basically telling a new Mario origin story as if this is a new universe. It just looks like he's arrived at the Mushroom Kingdom for the first time and he's looking up at Peach's castle, which makes me think he doesn't know where he is. You can see the toads down here, kind of as if this toad's almost as if he's saying, welcome, do you need this, do you need help with stuff? Either that, or he's like, this toad is along for the adventure because he's got loads of stuff packed. It's hard to tell whether he's his pal who's along for the ride, or whether he's a guy who's just turned up and says, hey, do you need some equipment, because there's all these other vendors selling stuff. So that's my guess, is that Mario's arrived here for the first time. Now, why would he be here for the first time? Now, when they were announcing the voice cast, they also announced that Sebastian Maniscalco will be Spike, and you can see the picture at the bottom to suggest that this is Foreman Spike and not Spike, the enemy from some of the Mario games, the wee kind of green guy who picks up big spiky logs. That's not him, it's this Foreman Spike. And Foreman Spike was in Wrecking Crew. There he is there. And this is an NES game with Mario in it before Super Mario Brothers, I believe. I need to double check that. And this is when Mario had loads of different kind of jobs, and in this one he was a destruction, whatever the word is, I forget. But basically his job was to demolish buildings, and he had to do demolish buildings in each stage while avoiding enemies. And Foreman Spike turned up every now and then to generally be a bit of a prick. Now, if he is going to be in the Mario movie, that's interesting, because as far as I'm aware, Wrecking Crew isn't part of the Mushroom Kingdom universe, and so what the hell does Foreman Spike have to do with it? So my guess, again, is purely guesswork, is that the movie will open with Mario working for Foreman Spike, potentially still as a plumber, but in a construction site where he's plumbing together some buildings or something, maybe in New Donk City, who knows. And maybe he gets a call, he gets called away from his job to go and do a job at Peach's castle, hence him arriving at the Mushroom Kingdom, because he's never been there before, and looking up and saying, how the hell am I going to get up there to Peach's castle? And he'll obviously get in all sorts of scrapes and hijinks as he goes up all this stuff up here. My phone's being weird. Oh good, I've lost my connection. That's exactly what I wanted. Oh well, it's because I turned the data off. Let's put it on Sebastian's face instead. So I think he'll get to the top of Peach's castle, and then some sort of hijinks will ensue at the top. Bowser will turn up, maybe either kidnap Peach, or if that's considered too old-fashioned for modern children's cinema, then he'll do some other sort of nonsense. And then Mario teams up with Peach, who he may be meeting for the first time, to take him on or something like that. But that's my guess, is that this is a new telling of Mario's origin story. Because when you think about it, the original Super Mario Brothers story was that Bowser had magic powers and he transformed all the Mushroom Kingdom people into blocks, which is, when you think about it, means that when Mario breaks the blocks, he's killing people. And obviously Nintendo don't want that to be the plot anymore. So I would imagine this is their attempt to retell the Super Mario Brothers story and pretend that the Toads are the residents of the Mushroom Kingdom instead, and that Mario is coming here for the first time. The only thing that throws me off, and I'm going to have to turn my data on again because I want to get back to that picture. So it's far from ideal, but whatever. Is that... boop. Oh, good, it's still not working. Is that at the bottom of that image? Let me search Nintendo. Is at the bottom of that image? Here we go. Twitter, don't be a knob. There's antiques here. And the antiques include the music box from... and the P switch from Super Mario Brothers 3 and the NES. Now, if those are antiques and that's a clever joke, these are from the old games, then that kind of does away with the idea that Mario is coming here for the first time if he's been on those adventures. But there's nothing to say that in this new retcon Mario universe, those adventures didn't happen and those are just old things and it's just an 8-bit joke, and Mario wasn't involved in those adventures. So hey, you never know. But anyway, there we go. That's my guess, is that this is the Super Mario Brothers movie, as it sounds like it's now going to be called, will be the new story of Super Mario Brothers 1, with Mario arriving at the Mushroom Kingdom for the first time, either having been called out on a job and leaving Foreman Spike's construction company, or maybe while working under Foreman Spike, he's working on a new building and he finds a pipe and goes through the pipe and ends up here by accident, in a different world. Who knows? Certainly not me, which is why on Thursday when this is announced, it'll be completely different and nothing like any of that. So we'll see. That's my guess. Let's just see if it ends up being true. As for Chris Pratt doing the voice, who knows? They've already teased that it might not be exactly what you would expect. So maybe Chris Pratt, for all we know, he might be playing an older Mario and narrating it, looking back on his time and say, let me tell you the story of when I first got to the Mushroom Kingdom. And then they said Martinet will have some sort of cameo voice. Maybe he just does a woo, 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 and actually does voice Mario, but just noises, and that'll get around not making Mario have to talk all the way through the movie. Maybe Chris Pratt is an older Mario doing a Wonder Years and narrating what happened so that Mario doesn't have to talk during the film and Martinet can just do the voices, but we'll see. That's my guess. Feel free to destroy it, tear it apart, make fun of it, and we'll see on Thursday how close I was, which probably isn't very. Cheers guys, bye bye, have a good night.